I'm happy to announce our next major club fishing tournament, the Spring Bass Bash, brought to you by the Basscast. The event is going to run from Saturday, April 26th through Sunday, June 15th at midnight. This is the biggest tournament I have done so far with over 13 cash prizes. I'm giving away $500 to the first place in the largemouth division and the smallmouth division, $200 to second place in both divisions, $150 to third place in both divisions, and that's not all. I'm giving away a plaque from first all the way to fifth place in both divisions, and I also have Big Fish Awards. I am giving away $100 plus a plaque to the 3 largest largemouth caught during the event. I am giving away $100 plus a plaque to the largest smallmouth caught in Pennsylvania waters, the largest smallmouth caught in Maryland waters, and the largest smallmouth caught in Virginia waters. But that's not all. I am also doing a side quest challenge here. I'm giving away $100 plus a plaque to the largest snakehead caught, $100 plus a plaque to the largest bluegill or sunfish caught, $100 and a plaque to the largest rock bass caught, and $100 plus a plaque to the largest crappie caught. This is over $1,700 in cash prizes, and there's so much more. If you'd like to join the event, check the link in the episode description for more details. Right now, we have 13 people signed up, and I have over 13 cash prizes. You're basically guaranteed a 100% chance of winning something if you sign up right now. Go check it out. Registration will continue all the way through May. If you want more information to check it out, look at the episode description down below, click on the link, and you can sign up down below. Thank you.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Fishing the DMV. I'm your host, Thomas Ahrens, and today we're heading to the VKAE. You know I love those guys. The first event of the year that they had, and I have on Will Anderson, who won with 83 inches, and he was fishing out of an interesting vessel that you don't usually see in these types of tournaments, but it didn't matter. He showed up, kicked everyone's ass, and took their money. Will, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
So, as always, to get started here, like what got you into fishing and snakehead fishing?
Man, well, I've been fishing my whole life off and on. About probably 6 or 7 years ago, I just started fishing a lot more, and then it was all out of a friend's boat, dragging a canoe down to the river, dragging kayaks down to the river, and then after about a year or two of that, I had to get my own, and I've just been fishing pretty much every weekend since. So yeah, fishing hard for like 5 years probably.
Oh, cool. Have you grown up in the area of Northern Virginia?
I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, that's where I live.
Oh, nice, awesome. How did you get with VKAE?
I've just been seeing their stuff on Facebook, and I've been out at Port Royal a couple times, like just on a random day that they were fishing the tournament, and seeing like the logos and just following on social media, really. And then I thought about doing it last year, but dates just didn't line up that well. So this year I decided to give it a ride.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's
couldn't come better the first one.
It really couldn't, man. I mean, I know you're probably riding high right now because the idea of, first event of the year, it's pretty cool. But then, when you're just starting to really get into tournament fishing, that's even cooler.
Yeah.
How did you get into snakehead fishing?
Well, growing up in Richmond and Virginia in general, when they popped up, we heard a lot of stories about them. And then as they kind of grew from, people are scared of fishing for them to what it is now, where people seems like in Virginia, at least Chesapeake Bay, it's one of the top tournament kayak scenes. Seems very active compared to bass angling, which I don't see very much of, for kayak fishing, for small boat fishing. I'm sure that's big. I'm sure it's just not in my wheelhouse. But then, of course, once you catch a couple of them, it's hard to say no. Just the access, and then of course you're catching 30-inch fish when you instead of 15-inch bass or what else before.
When you grow up, let's say Northern Virginia area, you have the Potomac River, big snakehead hotspot. Maryland's got it. In the Richmond area, is there a widely known place, or are you traveling to the Potomac to get your snakehead fix in?
My spot has always been Port Royal. That's about an hour away from my house. from the door. The place where where the tournament was last weekend, Aquia Creek, Aqua Creek. That's about an hour as well. Aquia Creek, that's about an hour as well. So I hadn't really been up there. I'd always just gone to Port Royal. That was just the spot that seemed to be the closest, seemed to be most accessible for me. And then lots of water to fish right there, and lots of big fish, lots of nice snakehead fishing, bass fishing, crappie fish, whatever I wanted to fish for.
Port Royal, dude, is a nice little hidden gem you guys got down there. The whole Rappahannock area. I mean, I don't think it'll ever get the fishing pressure Potomac does because you don't have the big bass tournaments that go out of there. But it's a neat little place. It really is a fun place to visit.
Yeah, it's pretty big, especially compared to some other creek launches that I've been to. But that's pretty intimidating, I think, for a lot of people. But it's lots of water to fish, lots of habitat, that's for sure.
When you got into this tournament, I mean, we probably should say this now. What vessel are you fishing out of? Like,
I'm fishing out of I think it's the 1991 Old Town canoe, 15.8. Old Town spool. No, Old Town. I can't remember the name, but yeah, green one, classic.
Do you have
I got a trolling motor, so I'm not fishing it myself, but
okay, that's you're really living.
Yeah.
What? Mentally going into this event, was that hard to deal with? Because it's sometimes like, okay, you're going to see guys that show up in, $20,000 pimped out rides, and you're sitting there with your Coleman. Was that in the back of your head at all?
Yeah, it was, but I've been fishing out of the canoe since that was the first boat I bought, because I fished out of kayaks before, and I just, sat in them for an hour. My legs fall asleep, my back hurts, and, I can't do it. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'8", so
holy shit.
Small kayak was not really feasible after, spending my whole life in kayak. So I figured I'd just pull the trigger and get a canoe. And then I upgraded from a smaller canoe to this one, and this one is it's bigger than all the kayaks. It's 16 feet long. It's huge. It's a barge. I mean, it holds as much stuff as they do. I bring just as much stuff.
Dumb question, but how stable is it? I mean, I guess is it pretty wide?
Yeah, I stand up in it pretty much all day, weather dependent, and waves and boat traffic and stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty much fishing standing up the whole time. I've never flipped it across my fingers, but it's stable enough. It's a big canoe. It's not a sport canoe. It's not like a whitewater canoe. It's very family, fishing friendly canoe for sure.
Where do you set yourself up in it? Are you in the back or are you dead center to keep it stable?
It's a 2-person. It's got 2 seats. I left the 2 seats in there, so I'm in the front seat going backwards, and that puts me closer to the middle than if I was in the normal back seat facing the front of the boat. So theoretically, I'm facing the back of the boat. Facing backwards, sitting backwards in the canoe.
Dude, man, it sounds like you got the rig completely figured out. That thing's probably pretty quick too.
Yeah, I've actually replaced. They come with these plastic molded seats that I replaced with just a wood platform, and I attach like a stadium seat to it. I sit on a cushion, so I'm pretty comfortable. Like I said, I stand a lot, so it's easier for me to move around.
That's badass.
I'm comfortable, and I knew I had to be comfortable to fish all day. So.
No, and the fact is, you don't have to buy brand new. If you're willing to or have the talent to do customizations and little adjustments, man, go for it there versus buying something that's just blindingly expensive, especially right now.
Yeah, I mean the kayaks. Yeah, like you said, the rigs that people were out there were really expensive. I got my canoe for $150, and then I got a trolling motor I bought a brand new trolling motor, brand new lithium battery, so. I'm equipped to fish all day. It's just the vessel looks different than everybody else.
Well, I mean, getting to the tournament then, was this your first time fishing Aquia? Did you get to do any practicing?
I did. I fished it 3 times before. Once with a friend. One time I forgot my battery, so I had to paddle. And then the 3rd time I was able to fish and explore the area a bit. And every day was a bit like tournament day, cold, windy. So only one of the days I even caught a snakehead. And I was going, yeah. I mean, once I saw the weather too, I was hoping to catch anything really. I knew everyone else was gonna. I don't know if I knew per se, but I just figured that everyone else is gonna have the same problems because we're all gonna be out on the same day.
Well, let's get into it a little bit then. So you launch to start the event off. Well, what time is it when you get to your first spot?
Ooh, let's see. Well, lines were in at 12. I got there about 11:15. And go ahead.
I was going to say I'm so glad you mentioned that. So for people that listen to this, it wasn't a normal 6 a.m. to like a 2 p.m. event. Could you elaborate the times?
Yeah, it was a 12 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
So I think, early in the season, they're hoping to catch, a little warm weather window there, but they got like coldest day of April, I think.
It was.
It was cold and windy. A little bit of rain too, just to top it all off. So I got there about 11:15 and I just went straight. I had to get out of the wind. I knew that because I knew it was going to be blowing wind all day. I just looked on the map and saw that like up in the Aquia Harbor, and I just pushed to try to get up as far as I could before 12 with 4 lines in. I stopped about halfway there and fished for 15, 20 minutes, and I couldn't really fish because of the wind. I couldn't really cast where I wanted to cast, I guess. And then so I just went ahead and just pushed all the way up into a creek as far as I could.
So you went out towards the river or in towards the creek more? I
went up the creek. The Aquia Harbor's like smart. Way back in the creek, yeah. It splits and I went to the less populated side. And I caught one up there.
Well, that's got to be better for the wind because I fished Belmont this past weekend, and it was ripping. The wind was so bad, and so it's probably a good decision going back into the creek versus out.
That's why because the canoe just gets blown like a flag, so it just points downwind in the front of the boat. It doesn't matter what I do. There's nothing I can do to stop the front of the boat from spinning. So I knew I had to get at least upwind so I could fish comfortably going back. And then I knew if I was upwind, if the motor ran out of juice, I could just paddle back regardless. So
smart.
I didn't have that. Yeah. But I didn't see nobody I saw went downwind very far because I think everyone, once you launch there, it's just, you're in like the big open part of the creek. And so if you went downwind, the further you went, the rougher it got. I didn't know anybody. I didn't hear about anybody going that way very far. Everyone's stuck pretty close, I think.
Well, I mean, since people stuck really close, when you finally got to your first spot, were you sharing it with a bunch of people or did you feel like you had it to yourself?
I followed one guy probably by 100 yards, 200 yards, something like that, up the creek. And then when he stopped he pulled off to somewhere else. And then there's another guy in the creek as well. So I only saw 2 kayakers up there. And yeah. So I only saw 2 make it that far.
That's not bad. I mean, that's not terrible sharing. So you get situated, and you said it's about like 12:30ish, and you
I probably got up to the creek by about 1 after it was all said and done because I did stop and try to fish, but like I said, the wind was too bad, and it's just didn't catch anything in 15 minutes. So I went ahead and just pushed as far as I could to less windy area.
Okay. When you got back into there, when did you get connected with your first snake?
Maybe like 2:00.
Damn, dude! Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So it didn't happen right away.
No, definitely not. It was pretty slow. I mean, that was pretty slow. Caught that fish, and then like I said, I followed some guy up there, so I just kind of chose to stay at his pace, just to stay behind him. I didn't want to just like cut him off, and I would say I caught the first one probably 2-ish, and there was a guy. There's actually a bass boat up there too, but then a guy in a kayak as well. And he told me he didn't catch anything in the creek after I caught one, so I kept fishing that creek. Didn't catch anything else, and then tried a couple more spots on the way out. There's lots of pads. Oh my gosh, I've never seen a place with so many pads. Lily pads, crazy.
So your first one is about 2:00. How big was it?
I think that was the biggest one at 29.
Damn, dude. Okay. I mean, so you get a 29-incher right away. You got to be feeling. I mean, I guess what were you feeling? Because that's a pretty big snake.
Yeah, I mean, I was just stoked to catch anything because, like I said, I've been 3 times before.
Yeah.
And had no luck. So catching one, I was super stoked about. I was just happy to get on the board at one. I wasn't sure. I figure other people call one. Figure one was like, one you can win, I guess you could say.
So after that one, you start working your way back. When did you start connecting with your next one?
Let's see, man. I tried just like floating into the pads like I've seen people do and just try topwater stuff. But again, the wind was just too much. Couldn't really do it. Couldn't really fish a topwater like it would needed to be on a day when it's like 40 degrees, 45 degrees, whatever it was, like slow. The wind would just blow your line, blow whatever lure you had. So then I moved, just kept working down the creek. And then I switched to like a flipping jig. And I hooked up to a bass on like the first or second flip. And I was like, well, I mean, it was easy to cast, easy to, make short, accurate casts with the wind and everything. And then I caught a snakehead, probably doing the same thing, maybe 10 casts later. And then I figured I'd just do that the rest of the day because it was easy to cast, easy going downwind. I could just fish the edge of the pads, and there's just the whole creek was full of pads, so I could just fish the whole edge.
What was your first bait? Was it like a topwater deal?
First catch was on a spinner bait, so everything was underwater. I didn't even try topwater.
I was gonna say
I tried a little bit, but it was just not worth it.
Dude, a spinnerbait for a snakehead. I mean, I get it. It'll work. But, I mean, how many spinnerbaits are you going to go through? Because, good God, they beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, he bet that one. I don't think I haven't used it since. It broke that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise people listening spending like $30 on spinnerbaits for snakeheads because you're gonna go through a lot of them.
Yeah, go get the Walmart special, the $1 ones.
Yeah.
They'll catch them just as good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with a lot of these baits. You gotta there are now more snakehead-ish like brands and stuff, but they do, man. I mean, they can just pummel baits. I had one break a jerk bait in half. I mean, just crack it. It's just they're just such high-powered biters when it comes to just the take.
And then they spin and flop in the boat. And
all hell breaks loose when you get them in the boat. Yeah,
they just love breaking stuff and just causing chaos and. It's part of the fun, but like I said, you're hooking a 30-inch fish. All 30-inch fish do that. Doesn't matter if it's a red fish. Doesn't matter if it's. If you strike bass, whatever else with 30 inches is going to break stuff. It's going to bend lures. Snakehead just happened to be in fresh water and lily pads and.
Close quarters, and that's where you need to make sure your gear is ready to deal with that. I mean, I don't know what you're throwing. Are you throwing like on straight braid, heavier braid, or heavier fluorocarbon?
Those are all on. Like copolymer line, like 15-pound copolymer line. So the moving baits weren't on very big gear, like just a medium heavy bait casting rod. So I do have like a couple rods rigged up with 30-pound braid for topwater stuff, but that's about as heavy as I go. I don't have any 65 or 50-pound braid, things like that.
You are gutsy. I don't know if I could do that in a tournament like this because with just how they hit.
Okay that day.
It did work out okay. And so you went to the jig, you got a bass, you got a snake. So you got two now, and it's about what, 3-4 o'clock?
Yeah, 4:30, 5. So I just working my way back at this point. And I just kept doing it. And I hooked into probably one or two other fish. I think they were snakehead. I can never know. I didn't hook them and didn't land them. They came undone, and then caught a third one about 7 o'clock. Now, I think that was the smallest one. I can't remember now, but it was small. The other second two were smaller.
At that point, did you have about 80 inches? Like when did you have 80 inches?
Well, when I caught the third one, yeah.
Caught the third one.
I landed and took the third picture of the third one. I was like, that's when I thought I could for sure win. I mean, I didn't know what three is like. I guess full bag is a chance to win. So.
What was your feeling when you got that third one in the boat?
I mean, I was excited. I mean, just first tournament, so feelings were all new. I mean, I couldn't believe I caught 3 when I hadn't caught 1. Well, I caught 1, the time before, but it was like maybe 20 inches long. And so catching 3 was huge. I mean, it felt that I was ecstatic. I was screaming under my breath, like holding it in. But
did you think you had it?
I caught 3rd. Yeah, and that was in the field right by the ranch, so there was a bunch of people out. I mean, I definitely won on one of my pre-fishing trips. But then when I launched, there's already people sitting in all the spots I wanted to go to. And and the wind just really pushed me up the creek. I was just like, well, I'm not going to compete. I'm not going to be crossing lines and stuff trying to find snakehead down here. So.
Hey everyone, quick little announcement here from Fishing the DMV. Our club membership on Patreon is nearly full. There are only 6 membership spots still available. Once these spots are gone, they're gone, and I'll be closing down the club membership to new members until 2026. At that point, you can try to sign up, but it'll be at a higher rate. All Patreon members will receive 5% off their orders to Jake's Bait and Tackle, 10% off their orders to Tiger Crankbaits, 10% off their orders to Catoctin Creek rods. You'll also gain access to our private Facebook group community. You'll also be allowed to enter our 5 club membership tournaments only with guarantee payouts, members only content, ad-free, commercial-free episodes of the podcast, Patreon supporter giveaways, and so much more. And you get all of this for $6 a month, which is less than a pack of Cincos or a jackhammer chatterbait. And since we're under our 10 membership spot, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to give everyone a 10% off their membership if they sign up for the year. So that brings it down to under $65 a year, locked in indefinitely as long as you want to be a member. Hurry up because there's only so many spots left before I shut down the club to any new members until 2026.
Did you think then when you caught that 3rd that you actually had it won?
No, I didn't submit any of the pictures until after I landed. So I think 3, I was like pretty confident I was going to be like top 3 at least. Because I just figured that, I don't know, there's something about body language. I was looking at other people when I got back down. You just kind of, maybe because I felt good because I caught 2. But everyone, just, I don't know, shoulders were slouched. People were just, blindly casting, moving baits in the pad. So it's just like not really like it's the pattern that works, but it's not, it didn't look very enthusiastic plus it was raining and cold and, I don't know, it just people didn't look very enthusiastic when I came back down towards the ramp. But then when I landed and I started talking to people, people said they came in early. People said they didn't catch anything.
Wow.
Some people said they caught, 15, 20 bass that didn't catch a snakehead. I don't know. Some people said, that's all I heard. So once I told them I caught 3, people were just, I don't know, people were surprised for sure.
Why do you think
I was surprised myself because I hadn't caught anything before in the whole 3 times before fishing.
I mean, it gets back to whether it's bass, crappie, snakehead, any winners I've had on, like when it's your time, it's your time. That's a cliche, but it really is true. And it's interesting that it was such a tough day. Why do you think it was so tough out there?
Man, I think it was just a cold. I think we had day before it rained all day, 45 degrees. So and then I don't know, whatever activity was happening, because the week before was pretty warm, pretty nice. A few days before in the week were pretty nice. But man, I guess it just shut down the bite. I'm not sure what kind of numbers other tournaments get. I'm sure there's a whole field of people that don't catch many. There's half the field probably doesn't catch a single snakehead in other tournaments. I'm not sure though. I imagine that's, I think that's what it's like. I mean, bass fishing tournaments I hear about are usually like that, where half the field might not catch any fish. And then, half the people that catch stuff don't catch any, catch half 3 or 4. I don't know. I feel like I'm lucky for sure, but then I also didn't see anybody doing what I was doing to catch anything, catch a snakehead. No one else was standing up. No one else was flipping a jig, swimming a jig, I don't think. I was using a black and orange, so it's very muted color compared to what I saw.
That's interesting, dude. It sounds like you really did. You cracked the code that day.
So it felt like.
What type of tide were you dealing with? Was there a tactical reason for fishing the outside edge versus pushing yourself into the pads a little bit more?
No, not really. It was outgoing tide when we got there. Really, so by the time was on the way back, it was pretty much a slack tide. I think the tide started to come in a little bit. And I think that encouraged me to fish more of the edges because it's just so shallow in the pads. Not that I couldn't take a canoe in there, but I mean, there's just no water. I mean, it was just, you're sitting in 6 inches of water. I did catch one like on the inside edge of a pad field, but it was, I don't know how much water was in, maybe a foot. But all the other two were, on the edges. So they were on the first 2 or 3 stems off the channel. And I would imagine that's just, low tide pushes fish out of the pads. Doesn't matter if it's bass, doesn't matter what it is. They're not sitting, but so much water. I mean, snakehead are unique, but they're still going to roam channels, still going to roam edges. I think that's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a generic fishing tip, right? It's like fish edges and stuff. Doesn't matter if it's edges of grass, lily pads, channels.
Yeah, it's obvious stuff, but sometimes people like outthink the room and try to make it too difficult. And sometimes there's a simplicity that is overlooked that's important. And there's a strength in that.
But for sure, I mean, again, I didn't see anybody in the creek. People, you had to find spots out of the wind. Doesn't matter what kind of boat you were in, because the wind was just going to push you away from where you wanted to be. But I didn't see anybody in the creek on my way back. I was the last person out of the creek. 2 guys left before me, and they weren't in there when I got back. They weren't. Nobody else was up the creek at all. I don't know if that was because they had other ideas. They just kind of stuck on the idea of catching snakehead in the pads, which is fine, which is fun. But it's also a challenge to fish anything but like the most weedless floating lure you got. And some days.
Is that the same techniques you use at the wrap?
I love like using swim baits and like 4 or 5 inch swim baits and moving baits. And that's what I use. Yeah, that's what I go in the wrap too, especially as it kind of warms up and all these edges start forming, like all the grass edges, the snakeheads sit in the grass just as much as they sit in the pad. So, especially at Port Royal where the grass grows at low tide, it's at the top of the water. You got to pull your boat through the grass. They're sitting in the grass, and the grass is everywhere. So, and the snakehead can be sitting in the grass. Doesn't matter how deep it is then, because the grass is 6 or 10 inches, 15 inches deeper. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I fish the grass just like I do. Not just like I do, but yeah, I can go through the grass, go swim bait, pull a swim bait. Underspin is like my favorite, and just burn an underspin over the grass, and they get slammed just as much or more than I do fish at pads.
Underspin is an interesting technique to use in that grass. Are you using what's your favorite underspin to use?
My go-to is Z-Man makes their new, I don't know if it's new, but it's called a ZWG. So it's like their Z-Man branded weighted swim bait hook. And then I just you can buy, or I've had broken swim bait or broken spinner baits. I just pull the swivel and spinning blade off the broken spinner bait, and you can just slide it right on the hook. And actually the ZWGs have a little rubber stopper, and that can keep the spinning blade at the bottom where you would want it, but also it sometimes kicks up to the tail, and then it's just on the tail. And that's what I use. So it's like a kind of weighted swim bait hook. And I just, like I said, slide a broken spinner bait spinning blade on it, because it comes with a swivel already attached. And I bought some, I can't remember the company called, but they come just little spinner blades that you can just slide on hooks. And that's what I use.
What's your favorite swim bait if you had to pick one?
I use the Z-Man, the 4-inch slam shady, not the slam shady, excuse me, use a bad shad, or I also love what's it called? It's a lime chartreuse.
Green and hot colors.
Belly.
Okay.
Yeah, this swimming trap trick is another good one too. That's 3.5, I think, but it's a lot skinnier than the other ones. Those 2 are my go-to.
I need to try that as well. With this victory, I mean, it's a pretty great way to kind of start off the year. Do you have any other goals or aspirations for the rest of the year?
Man, I wrote it down in my journal for my tournament log this year. It's every tournament's just to catch 3 fish. I mean, I don't think I can win unless I catch 3. And if you can't catch a bag, I don't think you can win one of these, especially as it gets warmer. And I imagine the more people will enter as the weather's better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fishing's going to get better. So I think you got to catch 3. And that's the goal every tournament. So I don't want to say it's not competitive, but I grew up playing sports. I play volleyball like every weekend. It's those, I played rugby for a while too. Those sports you're competing, like, it's not so much in volleyball, but rugby's like man to man. Like
rugby's hardcore.
You got to really stop somebody. With fishing, it didn't feel competitive as much as it felt like, catching stuff on the line. But I'm not stopping anybody from fishing anywhere else, or no one's stopping me from fishing how I want to fish. So that's where it doesn't feel competitive as much as it feels like it's up to me, and it's only up to me. It's not gonna matter if other people catch fish if I don't catch any. So the most important thing is that I have to find out how to figure out how to catch the fish.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but
no, it does. It does. I mean, you get to scratch that competitive itch, and then it's also this weird dynamic where are you competing against other competitors, or are you competing against the fish?
Yeah.
Who are you actually competing against there? Because, if you can figure out how to crack the fish every single time, in theory, you're going to beat your competition. And it's Pan's Labyrinth, man. It's just every time you go out there, you're trying to figure out this Rubik's Cube that keeps changing on you.
Yeah. And it's, and I'm a lot more familiar with Port Royal because that's like a spot I go to during the summer when I'm freshwater fishing a lot. It's like, that's the spot I go to. And so it's more thought, especially after going to this first one, and just figuring out like a time frame on where I want to fish, how I want to fish, how much time I want to fish spots, or, kind of coming up with a loop that I can fish in the allotted time and not run out of battery or be late back to the ramp or something like that.
No,
this
dude.
One, yeah.
Dude, no.
Exciting.
100%. 100% get that. Mm-hmm. Which is the next event that you're looking forward to?
May 10th. Yeah. Port Royal. I went out last weekend, or I went out Sunday.
Are you nervous?
I mean, yeah, I think I am. I mean, I just want to catch fish, right? So I caught a pretty big one on Sunday, and so that gives me confidence to use what I did, or use underspin and work the edges and find shorelines and stuff like that that I can fish, and then try the pads, try kind of the more traditional way to catch snakehead, use topwater, use frogs, stuff like that. And then just find areas that similar to where I caught them on Sunday, and then I'll probably scope it out again May 3rd or 4th, the weekend before, and then kind of finalize what I want to do. And hopefully the weather is cooperative and not crazy. And
how big of an area do you like to try to have? I mean, do you just need like one spot in a snakehead tournament like this? Do you need multiple? Like generically, what are you looking for?
Man, if the weather's perfect, I think you could probably you come up with like 3 strategies you want to use to try to catch them, because, they're not going to, you could probably win the tournament in the fishing the lily pads and trying to catch topwater. But like I said, they're everywhere. They're not going to be just in the pads. They're not just sitting, in 6 inches of water underneath vegetation. They might be following channel edges. They might be in wood trying to, they're hunting bait fish, so they're not going to just sit around and wait. So yeah, I just think I'll come up with a couple different strategies and then try to execute on the strategies. Probably try creeks, probably try at least one. I guess I probably only go to one in the time frame, but yeah, try one and then try to formulate a couple other ones.
How much do you think snakeheads move around? Like if you find something the first week of April, do you think in 2 weeks, like they could still be there?
Man, I'm not really sure. This is like the first year I've really tried to critically think about how they're going to behave. So I've from what I understand, they start spawning soon as the weather starts warming, and that's probably going to cause their behavior to change a lot. But it's hard to know. I mean, the vegetation is going to start growing like crazy, especially with this warm week. I mean, we might have a few weeks of nice weather that turn Port Royal into, somebody's lawn. So that could change the whole, change the whole strategy. Then all these grass edges I just talked about already, all those come into play. All the grass, there's huge grass flats that could hold fish. The lily pads are going to be full. I mean, when I went out there over the weekend, some of the fields weren't as thick as Aquia Creek were. So those pad fields are all going to fill up and be a lot thicker in terms of lily pads. It could be. So I imagine they're going to move around a lot. Yeah, the next couple of weeks. This is the time they're going to change and start doing their thing, doing their spawning thing. I think.
You got any places you want to go this year to adventure out and try to catch a snake?
Man, I did like a trip on the Eastern Shore last year. I went to Blackwater Wildlife Refuge, and I did some saltwater fishing too. But I'd love to go back there. Try to catch really anything. It was just like shitty weather, shitty wind. Everything was bad. Didn't catch anything. Got skunked in 2 days of fishing up there. So I'd like to go back there. I heard that's pretty much it for fishing trips. I'm going to Florida to fish flats and fish for redfish and trout in a couple weeks. So yeah, that's all I got on the tap. I don't have any.
Was that your biggest snakehead?
What's that?
Was that your biggest snakehead that you've ever caught?
When?
In the tournament?
Nah, I caught it. No. I think the biggest one, I didn't measure. It was, I think this past weekend, like 33, 34, 32,
Damn.
Something like that, over 30.
Damn, dude.
Oh.
All right, good Lord.
Yeah, I hope like history of those. I mean, that'd be sweet.
Do you think the state record could fall again?
What is the state record? I know Maryland's like 40 some inches.
That was the one I was thinking about. Let me check with Virginia real quick. Hold on.
I don't know if Virginia has official
Virginia
state record.
Snakehead state record. Because I know. Let's see. Well, I got a weight, which is... This one might be Maryland, but 19 pounds, 5 ounces, caught May 15th, 2018. And the Virginia state record, here it is. The Virginia state record is Caleb Newton, who caught 17 pounds, 6 ounces. Oh, that's no length, but 17 pounds, I'm sorry. It's
got to be like 40 inches maybe?
Yeah, well, with the power
my bump board goes up to 48, so it can't be over 48.
If it's 48, dude, that's a goddamn monster. Hold on. Let's,
it'd be a huge one.
Angler, 19 pound, 5 ounce snakehead. This one was while fishing. This is 2018 while fishing Potomac Creek. That one's got to be over 40 inches. Easily. That thing's massive. Holy crap. How big is this one?
I don't think Virginia recognizes them. I've seen that picture before. I've seen that guy. I've seen that picture.
Daniel Cook. This is 2023. Massive. That thing is a massive. I mean, how big do you think that one is? Over 38, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the thing is like when they.
29.
Yeah, like dude, when they get over 21 pounds, that's a hell of.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. 21 pounds was caught from a kayak by Eastern Shore residents Damian Cook, falling into the state's invasive division. The fish replaces the previous state record of 19.9 pounds, taken by a bow fisherman in 2018. This one was probably caught on a rod and reel. Dear God, if you caught that on a topwater frog, it would lock up your stuff.
It would break something, that's for sure.
That is.
I was saying caught on 3-pound braid, I think.
No, good Lord.
When you scroll down, I think it said that.
Let me take a look. See, 3-pound braid. 3-pound braid. Wow, 30-pound braid. Good God. That's a hell of a fish, man. I mean, all right. Far from average.
That big in Rappahannock, I don't know.
Here we go. Wait, I'm not even sharing my screen. That's not good. Here we go. I found it, guys. Far from average. The fish had a total length of 36 inches and an official weight of 21 pounds. This technically makes Cook Snakehead a world record contender, as the International Game and Fish lists the all-tackle world record as a 19-pound, 5-ounce fish caught from Virginia's Potomac Creek. Interesting. So 36 inches will get you into... That's crazy. So 36 inches will get you into like national record or IGFA. That's crazy that then in our waters of Virginia and Maryland, you have a record like that just swimming around potentially still.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's so exciting about naked fishing in general, right? It's you go out there and catch 29, 30-inch fish. No bass fishing tournaments ever caught fish that big.
Mm-mm.
Nowhere in the world they caught a bass that big.
And again, like half... I was gonna say, like, and half the fight's getting them in the boat or the canoe, and then the next fight starts because they don't stop once you get them in the boat.
Yeah. You gotta do a number. I mean, they're gonna bite down the lure. They're gonna squirm, swim. I mean, they sit upright and start swimming around your boat practically.
They do. They really do, dude. I mean, Will, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. Is there anyone that we can give a shout out to or anything that we can promote?
Oh, no. I mean, I'd shout out my wife, shout out my friends who let me, my wife lets me fish every weekend, but I don't have anything to promote.
Well, and dude, yeah, good luck to you for the next major event coming up. Again, guys, here he is, your competition one for VKAE champion out of Aquia Creek with 83 inches. Dude, congratulations and good luck at your next event. Guys, link in the episode description. I will also tag VKAE stuff, their social media stuff. If you'd like to go join them for their next event. It's a really cool club, focusing a lot on snakehead and other species, which is really, really cool. Go check them out, and we'll see you next time on Fishing the DMV. Bye.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.